hard. And I found BACD and I got coached by Patrice and I talked to Teresa. I got some support. They recommended I present at Do It in Durham 3 years ago. Now I've presented every year and I've gone to Town Brewery and met new entrepreneurs every year. And it is so fun to see, almost like mark how your business grows through Do It in Durham week, through all the people that you recognize every year and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're at town last night, nice to see you again. If you're at the like Clarington event on Friday, I'm a Clarington girl, so I'll be at the Coffee Connect on Friday morning and some of the other webinars in between. Anyways, I'm Sarah. I am from Newcastle, Ontario. I've lived all over Durham my whole life. My past career, my total career was in marketing and sales for a whole bunch of organizations. And I went out on my own 5 years ago for the first time. That was too hard, so I went back to corporate. Then 3 years ago, I had more guts, a little bit more experience, and I was ready to launch my business. So with Reply All, I specialize in marketing and sales technologies. I advise small businesses on what tech might support your business best. I can implement that tech for you. And then I teach stuff like this and private groups and teams how to use their tech better. So I like to give everyone this like note before we get into things. I am the type of presenter that's going to mention a whole bunch of tools to you. People tend to like that, but I do like to tell everyone I'm tool neutral. I don't have any favorites. I'm not paid by any of these tools. Some consultants will have their 5 favorites that they recommend and they're certified in. I'm not like that. I am the opposite. I have a database of over 300 tools that I've tried, tested, and researched for my clients over the past 3 years. And I am very strict in what I share in my webinars to small business owners because I think it's got to be easy to use for us. It's got to be affordable. It's got to have a good free plan, a good free trial. And if I'm going to pay for it, it's got to be less than $30 a month. It's got to have really good learning resources because I know so many of us are trying to do it ourselves. And because I'm a tech nerd, I look at the integrations between tools. So it's got to be integratable with other tools. And you'll learn a little bit about why that matters in this presentation. Today's session, as Teresa said, is I'm trying to bring it to 15 easy automations that beginners can reasonably get started with. Doesn't mean you should pursue all 15. I want you to choose like 1 to 3 that stand out to you that might work for your business. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of AI because it's what everybody asks about. Automations being a little bit different than AI, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And I always sneak in some integrations work because if I put that in the title, people will fall asleep. But I'm going to tell you why integrations are actually really exciting and really important for our business. And it's all about the goal of trying to reduce how much manual work we're doing, how much administrative work we need to do every Monday, Friday, or every morning, every evening. That's what we're trying to do when it comes to adding new tech to the business. So I just mentioned a lot of these like buzzwordy terms, but let me give you some quick definitions to level set what we're talking about here. Starting with integrations, these are just how 2 tools connect and talk to each other. Some tools don't get along very well and we need to have a third party that connects them. But ideally, I'm looking for tools that connect really easily. And I'll give you some examples of I think the most powerful integrations you can have in your business. Automations are like repeatable rules that we set in our business. So a rule like when X happens in one piece of tech, you want Y to happen. Or when a customer does A, you want them to be sent email B. Automations cannot think, they cannot reason, they cannot go outside the rules. AI does that. AI, less rules, a little bit more autonomy in what AI can do on our behalf. We can train it to the best of our abilities. We can give it some guidelines and restrictions, but it doesn't follow strict rules because we allow it to think and reason to an extent. And then people ask me a lot about AI agents lately. If you're into this world at all, this is the biggest buzzword of the past couple months. And I'm here to tell everybody it's just glorified AI plus automation. Yes, it's AI, but you're giving AI some rules. That's an agent. Like you're asking a little AI agent to research tech news for you every single week. But the rule is, I want you to send me that email every Monday on the latest tech news. You're going to send it at 9 a.m. You're going to include the top 5 pieces of tech news. That's a little agent I created for my business. And thank you, Nicole, I think, likes the definitions. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to start with the least sexy part. Again, when I say integrations, people are like, oh, Sara, I don't want to get too technical. Let me show you what's great about them. And why we're starting with this is that, in my opinion, getting into AI, getting into automating your work, you can't do any of that unless you've integrated some of your tools. It's truly not possible to automate some processes unless your tools are talking to each other. So let's think about what tools we can connect to each other in our businesses. So now we're into the 15. Number one of the 15 is when my email started to get a little bit busier in the first year of my business, I maybe have a little bit of ADD. I was forgetting things all the time. I was losing track of the tasks in the long email threads between me and Teresa over the past 3 years. I would forget, what did she need from me? And so I needed a really easy way to save tasks straight from my email inbox somewhere. This is possible with integrations. So a solution to forgetting tasks, losing track of them, is you can integrate an app like Todoist is one that I quite like. Starts with a good free plan, of course, easy to use. And I was able to add a little Todoist integration or Gmail extension that adds a little Todoist icon to my inbox so that right beside my emails with Teresa, I can save some lines from the emails over into my tasks. Now, some of you might say, can I do that with Google Tasks, Sara? Yes, you can. So you can do it without an integration too. But if you don't like Google Tasks, know that some other Task Masters tools, like Todoist, can integrate with your email, make it really easy to copy things over. And this is what it looks like. So with each of the 15 ideas I'm going to give you, I'll give you a quick visual. And some of these are from my very own tech stack and what's happening in my business right now, or businesses I've worked on with my clients. So this was a recent project that got confirmed in my inbox. I was moving a client's information from Evernote over to Notion, and I got to highlight a line in the email thread. The Todoist icon you see here, this is over in the right side of my Gmail. I could open that up, add the task, add the due date, select a specific project. These are just file folders I have almost. And then I can add anything else. Yes, Nicole, I think there will definitely be some of these tools that integrate with Outlook as well, okay? Outlook can be a little bit more stubborn with integrations than Gmail, so not everything I mentioned today will be Outlook friendly, but a lot of tools are. If they're good with one, they're good with the other. Oh, you don't use Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo. Okay, what do you use? Put it in the chat. Odds are there is something. Yes, there's probably something that can integrate with webmail for you. Okay, integration idea number 2 is very similar concept. How can we save tasks from our AI note takers for those of us who use AI note takers? If you don't, I may mention them later in another section, but it is a common way for folks to start getting into AI tools is you can have note takers that join meetings like this one. Actually, this one's a bad example, but if you're meeting with one-on-one with somebody and you don't want to be furiously taking notes the whole time, an AI note taker can transcribe the meeting for you, summarize some of the key takeaways, and usually it'll start to summarize the tasks and to-dos after the meeting. But this too is only so good if it integrates somewhere else to bring those tasks out of the AI note taker and into the place where you're planning your schedule, your tasks, or your projects. So when I was considering an AI note taker for my business, I looked for one that integrates with project management tools. an example here. This AI note taker is called Super Normal. It too has a good free plan. And why I liked it from day one was the fact that it summarized the tasks that it called out from the meeting. And when I hovered over this little icon within the tool, I could add it to Asana, Linear, or ClickUp. These are three common project management tools. Now, there are others. As you can see here, it doesn't integrate easily with my favorite task planner, Todoist, from the earlier slides, but this still gave me some reassurance that if I needed to export tasks from the tool, I could integrate very easily with a project management tool. I'm going to pause for a moment and take a drink of water, or else I will lose my voice while I present. And I also know that sometimes I get excited and I talk fast, so you can slow me down in the chat if we need to, okay? All right, another integration I've been really encouraging my fellow small business owners to think about lately is what tools can we integrate in order to bring all of your contacts into one place? Because it can cause problems. I hear this from a lot of clients and friends that our contacts live in way too many places. We've got people in our inboxes, in our phones, in our social media. They're reaching out in different ways. We're meeting them at events like Do It in Durham, and it makes it really hard to keep track of everybody. And now some of us will have an email marketing tool or a CRM that we can add these people to, but not all businesses need an email marketing tool or CRM yet. That is where I recommend we use a connecting tool like Zapier or Relay app to sync all of our contacts to one place. And that one place can be as simple as a Google Sheet. You just want a connector and integrations tool to bring some of that data automatically into the Google Sheet for you. And I'll show you what this looks like. This one is a little bit more advanced, but if you're using a couple different tech tools like Calendly for scheduling and forms on your website and stuff like that, you want to try to bring the data from Calendly forms from anywhere into one database. This also is a good hack for when you do go to adopt new technology for your business in 6 months or a year or 2 years. Well, now you have a really clean spreadsheet of contacts to upload to that first big piece of tech that you're getting. So honestly, I can teach a whole workshop on Zapier, so I'm only giving you the tip of the iceberg right now. But Zapier and Relay are integrations apps that help integrate all these other apps. They're third parties that force apps to talk to each other. Using Zapier or Relay, you can make it that all of your Calendly contacts who book a meeting with you automatically sync into a Google spreadsheet. Everyone who fills out a contact you form on your website syncs to that same spreadsheet. Everyone who fills out, maybe you have lead forms on like an Instagram ad or something, as long as it's digital, it can sync to the same place. Zapier, I'll warn you, it can get expensive if you max out the free plan. So just look at the Zapier plan so you can see what your limits are. It does start free, of course. Yes, Janice, we're going to get into invoicing integrations. They might actually be mentioned in the automation section, but that's a really good integration to pursue. Oh no, look at that. You predicted it, Janice. It's right here. This is the next most powerful integration I recommend in business is if you in your business have trouble chasing payments, getting paid, or even if creating invoices is cumbersome for you. That happened in my business the whole first year. Every time I went to invoice somebody, I would have to go into my inbox, find them, copy and paste all their information over to my invoicing software, try to find what was the fee we even agreed upon, put that over in my invoicing software. It was a bit disorganized. So when I was choosing a client relationship management tool or some other tools, I was constantly looking at what's going to integrate really well into my QuickBooks, into my Xero or Wave apps. So the solution here is whether you have a client relationship management tool like me, which I think it's in another one of my tips, or you just have an intake form for your clients, even a Google form, or if you send contracts and those contracts contain some of the contact information for your customers, whatever tool is capturing that information, you may be able to integrate it into your invoicing software like QuickBooks, Xero, or other accounting tools. You may just have to lean on a third-party tool like Zapier, or your tool like mine might be able to connect directly into your invoicing software. So what does this look like in practice? This is my CRM. It's called Capsule CRM. It starts with a free plan too, of course. I'm like a broken record. Yes, it's very affordable for a CRM. And I chose it because I use Xero as my accounting software. Xero doesn't integrate with everything. QuickBooks integrates with a lot of things. So I needed to choose some tech that would sync client information nice and seamlessly into Xero. So this is a real client, but fake amounts, fake details here. But on Avery's account, I can click this little Xero button in my Capsule CRM. It's going to open up the history of invoices we have between each other. It's going to have this really quick button for me to be able to add an invoice, and it's automatically fetching Avery's contact information to put it in Xero at the top of the invoice. There are limitations here. I find a lot of CRMs, a lot of systems just won't transfer financial data, probably with good reason. So I will share that my capsule won't send the exact project amounts over to Xero. I need to input that as a human. And I think that may always be true because of the security around financial information. Does Wix have a CRM to use for automation? That's a complicated question, Nirmala, because Wix has some CRM functionality built into it. But in some ways, it's missing some key elements that CRMs have to manage your contacts. Wix also has a lot of integrations that will allow you to automate some things in your business, but again, are missing some other things. So very vague answer, but you can follow up with me after if you want to talk more about what Wix is capable of. All right, so we're going to do a really quick activity together. If you're curious about integrations, like Nirmala, you can look up right now if Wix has a CRM integration that's interesting to you. I kind of want to show you. So if you're not going to do the activity, you can just watch me on screen. I want to show you, how do you even look into integrations? How do you even find out what integrates into what? And it really is as simple as Google tech name integrations. Google QuickBooks integrations, I bet you'll get hundreds and hundreds. So maybe QuickBooks isn't the best example, but I'll show you. And Teresa, can you give me the thumbs up if you can see that I've switched tabs here? I'm going to Google Calendly integrations because I know some folks in service-based businesses like me are going to use a scheduler like Calendly to let people book appointments. When you search for integrations on any app, of course, the app's main integrations page is going to show up first. So I consider this like the strongest integrations that Calendly has, or sometimes I think of it as these are Calendly's best friends. They're really tight. They connect really well. They share information really easily with each other. And this is where you can explore things like, ooh, what CRM will Calendly send call information directly into? These are not, oh, actually, there are some decent options in here. A lot. This is going to be a wide range of prices. But I want to bring you back to the Google results to show you that often what's going to come up after the tools integrations is that name I've already mentioned a couple times, Zapier. If your tool doesn't have a lot of integrations, Zapier is probably going to come up first on Google, because Zapier, if your tools aren't friends with each other, Zapier is the acquaintance in the middle that's trying to introduce them to each other, right? So this is where you can go on Zapier and say, I want to connect Calendly with Google Sheets. Look, Zapier will do it. Or Outlook. It'll do it. There will be a lot of connections that Zapier can make. Because if we look up here, Zapier connects to 8,000 different apps. It is the middle person. All right, so hopefully with that, I gave you an idea of how to get started with integrating your tools. If you have any questions, you have 30 seconds while I drink water to ask them in the chat. No questions. You guys are so ready to integrate your tools. Now we get into some more fun stuff. Those were some examples of maybe the easiest and most achievable integrations you can do. Now let's get into some introductory ways to start automating things in your business. I think potentially the first automation I tell everybody to look into doing in their business is how you auto introduce yourself after somebody fills out a form on your website. Now, this is bothering me. My slide is wrong. This is supposed to cross out problem and say opportunity. So there we go. So if someone fills out a contact you form on your website or inquires, sends you an email, ideally you want to automate, especially if you can't reply right away, because who can? Sometimes we're busy. Automate that an email sends that introduces who you are, a little bit more about your business that they either couldn't get from your website or they aren't going to remember it. So let's repeat who we are and what we do. So sometimes we can do this in a tool. Again, I'm going to go back to Calendly, or if you use TidyCal or cal.com, Google Appointments. If you accept virtual calls, some of these tools will have confirmation emails built into them that you can customize so that everyone who books a Calendly call with me says, thank you so much for booking. For more information on Sara and reply all, here's a link to more information, stuff like that. If you don't have a way to book virtual calls with you, then maybe you have a contact us form on your website, or you will soon. Those two you can connect to an email marketing tool and have a quick automated email that goes out that educates more about you. If you have a CRM like me, a client relationship management tool, a lot of those also have forms embedded in them. They can be client intake forms or a contact us form through your CRM. That too, within the CRM, you could automate an email to go out as soon as they fill out an inquiry form and get an email from you to share more. So here is an example of what this looks like in practice. This is one of my favorite email marketing tools, is called MailerLite. Again, I think it's very beginner friendly compared to other email marketing tools. MailerLite can connect to your website form. For me, that's Squarespace is my website. It also has forms too built into MailerLite if you needed somewhere to create a contact us form. And with MailerLite, then you can automate sending a branded email or even a series of emails after somebody inquires with you. Yes, Nicole in the chat is asking, when they fill out a form, they get an immediate thank you message. Very common on a form submission that it says, thanks, we'll get back to you shortly, not a separate email. Of course, that's okay, but if you have the opportunity to introduce yourself further in an email, why not? A lot of us are going to be in our inboxes that day anyways. If you want to make a good first impression, really show a little bit more of your personality beyond just a quick thank you message on the form, then I think a quick automated email can be really powerful as a first impression. So MailerLite, making it really easy to automate. What we call at the top of an automation is called a trigger. The trigger in MailerLite is somebody completed a form. My form is called Tech Time Co-working. It's an old event I used to run. After that, I added the step to email. It's called campaign offer number 1 by default, but really it's just my welcome email. It says, hey, I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for registering for Tech Time Co-working. Here's what you can expect from your first time attending. And then, yeah, they get to know a little bit more of my personality. We get to double down on the content that was probably on the website, but people skim the website. So it's okay to reiterate and reintroduce ourselves. Right. Idea number 6, what else can we automate? Some of us, depending on our business and our industry, depend on doing a lot of online research to find our potential customers. Especially if we sell a product or service to other businesses, then you'll be familiar with Googling for those types of businesses near you to reach out to try to email or call or visit and see if there's a type of partnership that you can pursue together. So this is in the automation section, but these are actually also AI powered tools that really AI has changed how we research online for contacts. Using tools like Lusha or Apollo, these tools are able to publicly use AI to scrape the web for publicly available contact information for fellow business owners. Say publicly available and fellow business owners because we can't scrape the web looking for people who might want to buy our scarves. We can't target individuals in that way. That would be some privacy and legal restrictions around that. But given the laws around privacy, business, marketing emails, what is allowed is that if I look up fellow business owners that I think would benefit from my business and make a one-time introduction through email, that's allowed. We are allowed to do that at a reasonable amount. These tools, the reason they're in the automation section is that they can actually also send an email or a series of emails on your behalf. And here is what that looks like. I know there's a lot going on in this one. This one's a pretty crowded screenshot, but this is an example in Apollo. So using Apollo, I can add in some quick filters of people I want to search for here. So I always give the example of like accountants in Ontario, because accountants' information, being a business, that's usually fairly publicly available. They might even be listed on the CPA Ontario website. Like, it's not hard to find a list of accountants you might want to email in Ontario if you have services that might be useful to them. So this is, you could choose the location you want to target, province, or even tighter than province. You can go down to city. What job titles matter for you? I gave accountant, but for my own business, I might say marketing agency owner. I might also filter by the size of the marketing agency I would want to target because I like to work with small organizations, so less than 10 employees. In Apollo is going to filter by verified emails, unverified, unavailable. So obviously we want the verified emails, but Apollo is just going to let you know if they've really tested and tried those emails for you. And then I already said marketing agency, but there are a lot of different industries that you can use Apollo or Lusha to try to find information on folks in IT like me, or marketing and advertising, or maybe for some reason you sell to pharmaceutical companies or something really niche. I've been quite impressed by what Apollo and Lusha has been able to do for some more niche clients. And so I've been focusing on the filtering and targeting the right people in the middle here. But if you look up on the right side, there's also the ability to use AI to research these folks a little bit further if you'd like some more information before you reach out to them. And if I move all the way over to the left side here, In the engage functions, this is where we can set up some automations that automatically reach out to these people on our behalf. If you want to do one email one week and then do one follow-up the next week to say, hey, just wanted to see if you saw my email, I'd love to meet up for coffee, something like that, then there's some automations that we can do there. Now, I know when I teach this, there's always some people in the room that are like, ooh, do people really do that? Does that really work? It really depends on the industry. We don't all have to be like cold emailing hundreds of people trying to drum up business. That doesn't make sense for every industry. And some folks will be like, I don't like this email landing in my inbox. But in other industries, this is actually like very normalized for professionals to reach out to other professionals to potentially do business together. All right, coming back to some accounting and financial operations possibilities in our businesses. I know this was a part of my business that I found very boring and labor intensive. So I would always put off tasks that had to do with invoicing, late payments, reconciling my books at the end of the month, stuff like that. So I was constantly looking for what can we automate in this arena? When it comes to chasing late payments, maybe getting ghosted on invoices, I'll just say first that many accounting apps that we choose to use, they do have settings that you can set up auto reminders. So you don't have to do the chasing anyways. It is the accounting software that sends the email saying your invoice is 7 days overdue, 14 days overdue, 30 days overdue, and will continue to auto remind your clients of the outstanding balances. On the same slide, I include contracting apps in here. If you need your clients or customers, vendors or partners to sign a contract with you in order to get started, the contract signing apps also usually have this feature that they can continue to say, hey, Sarah's waiting on you to sign this contract to get work started. And then we don't need to worry about those awkward emails if we don't want to. So this is the inside of Xero, my accounting software. And this was just found in my invoice settings. So there's a couple things I could customize in my invoice settings, but first and foremost was how often do you want to email customers when an invoice is overdue, or when do you want those automated emails to come through? So the homework here is just see what your accounting or invoicing software is capable of, and if it's already sending overdue emails on your behalf. All right. Related to chasing invoices, this one is niche, maybe, but important. If you're in this type of business, chasing invoices is one thing, but sometimes or if you have a small team, you're going on a project, you're working with a client month over month, you're doing like long-term work for somebody. And oh no, this is the wrong one. I'm getting ahead of myself. Opposite. Sometimes you want to be notified the moment a contract is paid, or the first deposit is paid, the contract is signed off, you're ready to get started on a project. Unfortunately, the invoicing app doesn't always tell you, hey, you've been paid. And the contracting app won't always tell you, hey, they've also signed the contract. So if you have some tasks that you want to get started once a client is ready to go, you can use an app like Zapier or Relay, the connector apps, to automatically start a project if you have a long to-do list of things that kick off a project. So for some of my clients in businesses like mine that are a little bit more, I don't know, creative or service-based, maybe you need to create a new Google Drive for the client, a new project in a project management system. You want the client to book a kickoff call with you to get the project started. You want to send them an email with an ask for their logos and branding materials or something like that. You can automate some of this through Zapier or Relay app. Admittedly, sometimes this one can be hard simply because we're often dealing with a couple of different integrations and automations in one process. Okay, this is the one that I got ahead of myself. I started talking about this. Sometimes, related to chasing payments, maybe the invoice is late, the automations are going out, you don't even know your accounting system is sending these late payments until you actively check your accounting system and see that this client is 30 days overdue. Some of my clients would want to pause work at a certain point, or if they do have a team member working on something, they want to say, hey, we haven't been paid in 60 days. We have to stop doing work for this person. So this is an automation where you can make sure that your tools notify you that something is very late. You haven't been paid in a while, whatever period you're comfortable with. Make sure to notify me or notify the team to pause work, to wait. Now we really need to chase this client because the automated reminders from our invoicing software are not cutting it anymore. This one too looks a little bit complicated, but don't get thrown off. This is Relay. Relay, just like Zapier, is one of these tools that can connect tools together. It can also help us automate reminders and stuff like that. So I created this automation where step one is every Monday, Relay is going to look at the invoices that are due to me in my Xero account. That's the connection right here. When the due date is in the past and the amount paid is empty, I had to do that. That's just Relay being a bit silly, so I'm doubling down here. But when things are in the past, outstanding balance, etc., then I want Relay to email me and make sure that I'm noticing that this invoice is quite late. Because unfortunately, Xero won't be notifying me, not the way it's currently set up. So maybe I want to email me. Maybe I have a business partner I want to email. Maybe I have a creative staff member who's actually working on that project that I want to say, actually, email Barbara. Tell Barbara we got to pause work until I sort this out. That can be helpful. All right, our quick activity in this section is to just get a notebook or jot down some ideas in a Google Doc of your most repetitive tasks in your business. This is my exercise for figuring out what is like worth automating. It's always our most repetitive tasks, our most boring tasks, the ones we put off until Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. and then we slog through them as late as we possibly can. When you start getting in the habit of noticing how cumbersome these tasks are, that's when you can start thinking, oh, maybe this is something that I should look to automate or solve with other tools available to me. If you're like, Sarah, I actually don't find anything to be annoying or repetitive in your business, then A, you're really lucky. And B, then I want you to ask yourself, are there tasks in your business that you often forget to do, or it like stresses you out or wakes you up in the middle of the night being like, oh my God, I forgot that thing. I got to write that down. Those situations too might also be good opportunities to create automations and figure out how can we automate the things that we're likely to forget to do. So let's take a moment for that. Candace put an example in the chat. Would love to see too what you guys are thinking. Give each other some inspiration if it's relevant. Janice is going to try to automate what she can when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping, certainly. Bookkeeping and receipts, yep. Prospecting, big time. Because prospecting and trying to find people to reach out to can be really uncomfortable for those of us who like just aren't natural salespeople. So if you can find a way to automate that, it kind of helps like rip the Band-Aid and get you started. Yeah, onboarding new clients, Nicole. can be very cumbersome. I've got quite a little checklist of things my clients have to do in order for us to get started because I work in their technology. So I can't get started until they invite me into their tech. But in order to invite me into their tech, I need them to sign contracts so that we're covered for my insurance if anything were to happen, you know? Yeah, Angie onboarding. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Nicole, keeping track of mileage. Yeah, I'll share really quickly an anecdote because, again, I could teach a whole different session on this, but financial apps are both very technologically advanced and very behind. So when it comes to some of these like tracking receipts, tracking mileage, that's where they're advanced. You'll actually find a lot of really great app add-ons in your QuickBooks or your Xero. Search for what they integrate with, and you're going to find solutions for receipts, mileage, inventory, like whatever your industry is, there might be a cool app add-on that helps your accounting system work better. The way the financial apps I find are quite behind, this is why I could go down a whole rabbit hole. Our Canadian banking system is really strict. So yes, they are going to be like have trouble connecting to our banks. They're going to disconnect often. Integrations that actually try to send financial information from our banks to our accounting app or our accounting app to another app are sometimes really clunky. That is actually a Canada specific problem because our banks are so strict for good reason. So there are pros and cons to trying to automate or just advance anything to do with accounting and bookkeeping. It's possible, but if you hit a wall, it's normal. All right. Appreciate you guys sharing in the chat. Love to hear what's on your mind. Right. Now we get into AI. This is my bread and butter. This is what I teach multiple times a week, every week, is how folks can get started with using AI in their business in small, comfortable, safe ways. So you're just getting, again, you're dipping your toe in the water here with a couple of ideas for how you might want to get started with AI. Um, oh yes, okay. So I'd like to start by saying when many of us think of AI, we think of ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude, whatever your AI of choice is. Those are actually still quite manual to use, right? In order to use AI, you have to stop what you're doing, open up ChatGPT, and go ask it to do something for you. That's a manual task in our business right now. So I'm going to share some ideas for AI that is a little bit less manual. There are AI tools out there that specialize in certain tasks that aren't the ChatGPTs, Copilot, and Geminis of the world. And one category I've got my eyes on is AI that helps us with social media, because I know a lot of us are struggling to create content, repurpose it, distribute it, and put ourselves out there on social. I will say a quick opinion on this is AI tools in this area haven't really nailed this problem yet. I've got my eyes on it because I think we're on the cusp of something, but they haven't quite gotten it yet. So again, I want you to know this so that if you hit a wall, you know it's not a you problem, it's like a tech problem. But yeah, if this is important to you, social content distribution is important to you, there are tools out there. I've got 4 of them named here: Copy, Jasper, Blaze, and Repurpose. These are the ones that I'm watching to see how they develop and get better, because they're all trying to do things like taking one post that you've created and rework it, resize it, add a different caption, depending on what other social channels you want it to go to. So again, I think we are very close to an AI solution in this area. I wanted folks to know about this. But I don't have a good screenshot for that one, I'm going to be honest, because the back end of these tools was like, I just didn't have a good view to show you. Okay. One of the things I love to teach, this is again, not for every business, but if your business is interested in doing video, particularly if you're in a service-based business or thought leadership, trust-based business, like myself, the coaches and consultants in the chat, some of the financial folks in the chat, then video might become important to you one day, or even podcasting. Now, previously, for years and years, video creation and editing, podcast creation and editing would take hours upon hours. You'd usually have to hire some support. You would have to use a couple of different tech tools to do it. I think AI for video editing and podcast editing is one of the best AI innovations that came out. My favorite tool to do this in is called Descript. Again, really good free plan. I used Descript for probably 6 months before I kind of maxed it out and was like, I need to upgrade. This is really good. Descript uses AI to transcribe videos in seconds, auto-generate really accurate closed captioning for you, which you probably know is really good for accessibility, for the algorithms on social media and on YouTube. They really care about good, accurate closed captioning. These video editing softwares like Descript can cut out every time I say or ah, or I pause for too long when I'm talking. It can cut all that out. And it can even take a long video. Like sometimes I'll do a 5 to 10 minute video for YouTube. And with a couple of clicks, AI will find which 30 to 60-second clips within that long video would make really good social media posts and slice those up for me. So this is what Descript looks like. I wonder, you know what? I think I actually have time to bring you right into Descript rather than showing you a screenshot. This is what I usually do. I was just conscious of time today. All right. So this is a longer video I did for YouTube. I, like so many of you, are like, I should get into video. And then it takes a lot of effort, you know, the hair, the makeup, the planning, the sitting down and recording. The editing is easy now, but the other stuff takes me some time. So this one is an 11-minute video. First of all, I recorded it right here in Descript, so you can actually record directly in here as well. Or if you record somewhere else on your phone or what have you, you can drag and drop right into Descript. The first thing it does is auto-generate all of your words over here on the left side. These are not your captions yet, but these are the transcript. What's cool about Descript is if there's a sentence I don't like that it didn't catch, I can highlight the sentence and delete it, and it's gone from the video too. It cuts it out really easily. If you ever edited videos 5 to 10 years ago, you would know that in order to do that 5 to 10 years ago, you would have to zoom in on the audio file down here at the bottom and try to get really, really particular about how you slice the video to cut out that sentence. It was very cumbersome. Yes, Candace, Descript can turn an hour-long video into smaller clips. I'll show you where that is. All right, so left side, transcription. The bottom are normal video editing tools that you would see in any video editor if you did want to manually slice the video in certain areas. But the really cool stuff is over here in AI tools on the right side. Yes, Maxine, it is for podcasting too. I think Descript was actually originally created for podcasting. So the AI tools, which again are available in the free plan, they're just a little bit limited. It'll cut you off at some point if you use the AI too much. In the sound good section, this is where I use a bunch of these features to take out when I stutter, when I say the same thing a couple times, a couple different ways. I can talk slow sometimes because I'm a teacher. I do like take pauses sometimes, but that's not good for YouTube. So I got to shorten all my word gaps so that I'm not pausing for 0.5 seconds. I'm pausing for 0.1 seconds. Down in the look good section, I don't use these very often. I think they're a little bit weird, but if my eye contact goes to the other screen, like I'm doing tonight while I'm teaching, this AI will actually try to refocus my eyes, which is a little bit spooky. It can do a green screen in the background. Yeah, I don't use these ones a ton. Multicam. Ooh, that's cool. So this would be great for podcasting, or if you did have a guest on your video. Automatic multicam is going to like do a smart split screen and maybe even, yeah, active conversation. So it's probably going to highlight the one who's speaking at different times. The repurpose section here, these are the really good ones where I can take this, again, 11-minute video, click create clips, tell it how many clips I want. So maybe because it's a long one, maybe I want 10 clips for social, but I only want them to be 15 seconds long. You pick the kind of layout that you want here. So these are just kind of templates of different ways your captions can show up on this clip. And then in the topic, you can give the AI a little bit of direction on what kind of clips should it look for. So I don't know what direction to give it here because this video is such a weird one. I cover a lot in this video, so. Yes, Candace, it also leaves your original video in place after it makes the clips. That is actually hidden up here near the title. If I click automation comparisons, the first line here is the original video. And you can see here, it's starting to generate the clips. So this way, if I wanted to edit any of the clips myself as well, I could click into one of the clips. It's going to show up here. It's going to take over the main screen. And then I can do a little bit of editing. So here is where it is. Yeah, it's recommended 10 different clips available to me. Now, because the style of my videos, this isn't going to be a very good clip because you saw my face is small in the video and then my screen is big. It's always going to try to focus on my face. So clips doesn't work amazing for me, but it could for you. Now, highlight reel is very similar, but AI has a little bit more control over creating highlight reels. And where clips are, you can create like 10 short clips. A highlight reel, you see, you would create one and you decide if you want it to be 2-minute, 5-minute. It's going to create more of a compilation of highlights from your video. So again, I could turn this 11-minute video into more like a teaser trailer for a podcast episode or something like that using this. All right. And then other than that, there are some features, AI features within Descript that help me with writing captions and stuff too. So as I'm getting into YouTube, I don't know too much about how we write YouTube headlines and descriptions different than how we write in other social tools. So I did lean on Descript to help me with what should the title of this be? What should the YouTube description be? I don't need help drafting social posts because I was a marketer. I can write on social pretty easily, but if you're not a writer, then you can get it to help you write all the social posts for this video too. And then at the bottom, this should be at the top, there are some AI tools to help you plan videos too. So if you actually need help getting started brainstorming ideas or writing an outline for what you should talk about in a 5-minute video for YouTube, then Descript even has that for you. All right. Oh yes, there's another AI feature called the Underlord. It's a little bit experimental in Descript, but if for whatever reason the AI tools here aren't really doing what you want them to do or you want something unique, Underlord is AI that can help you do that. And it just reminded me I didn't show you studio sound, which is the second one on Sound Good. If you think critically for a moment about my voice right now, it might sound clear to you, but I'm in a pretty empty office. I'm using my normal MacBook, my normal Mac microphone. There's no special equipment here, so I don't sound studio quality. But if you went to my YouTube right now, you would see that I've applied studio sound to my videos. If you watch those, if you're curious and you want to go watch one of those really quick after this session, you'll hear that despite me filming those videos the same way I'm teaching this webinar right now, they sound like I'm on a podcast because I clicked studio sound and it really crisped up my voice and made it sound like I have a microphone in front of me. Okay, I'll stop geeking out about video for those who are like, I have no interest in pursuing video for my business, Sarah, but thank you so much. All right. So, oh yes, we're back to AI ideas. Idea number 11 is if you've been in business for a little bit and you do have customer data sitting in a spreadsheet or in your inbox somewhere, but you know that it's missing important information. Like maybe all you have is people's names and emails, and you never took down their website years ago. Some client relationship management tools, my favorites are Folk or Capsule, the one I showed you I use. They can search the web for information just like Apollo and Lusha can. But Apollo and Lusha I shared with you are for searching for information on people you don't know. Your CRMs can search for more information on the people you already do know. They're just searching the web to see if they can fill in the blanks for you. If you know people's names and emails, maybe you know their business name, but again, you never took down their website, or you'd really like to know their LinkedIns to make sure you follow everybody on LinkedIn. These tools have something called AI data enrichment that with just a couple of clicks, you tell AI in your CRM to go search for more information on those people and see if it can fill the blanks for you. So I pulled an example for you from Folk. It's just a clip from one of their YouTube videos because honestly, I am out of my free trial of Folk right now and I need to sign up for my next free trial, so I can't show you myself. But hopefully this will show you just how easy it is in a tool like Folk. And this is just an example. There are other tools that with just a click or two, you can find missing information on people. So sorry, I see no sound. Let me change my sharing settings. I mean, it is only like a 30-second clip, so. Oh, I have to share a tab in order for you to hear audio. Got it. Okay. Maybe, Nicole, you're first on my screen, so when I hit play, can you give me a thumbs up if you hear it?
Okay. Let's look how to use enrichment in Folk. To enrich a few contacts, open a group, select them using the checkboxes and click Enrich. To enrich everyone in a group, select Enrich All, and this will work for up to 500 contacts at the time. Once complete, any newly added data will appear with the sparkle icon on the right-hand side. The enrichment process usually takes just a few minutes, and when it's done, you will see a notification with the number of successfully enriched contacts. New data will be added automatically, and the sparkle icon will help you spot which field were enriched.
All right, so that is an example in Folk. I will warn that Folk, sorry, I have to change my sharing settings again in order to move on, because we're about to come to an activity where I need you to see more of my screen. Okay. But really quick on Folk is one of the only tools I'm sharing today that doesn't have a good free plan. And honestly, CRMs who do this AI data enrichment usually are going to make you pay for the AI data enrichment. Now, again, I'm looking at tools, Folk Capsule, that they do this for less than $30 a month. So that is like on the affordability scale of CRMs, that's kind of where CRMs usually start out. How accurate is the data? That's a great question, Sandra. I It certainly depends on the tool and the power of the AI they're using, but I've done this quite a bit, and I would say I would estimate like a 90 to 95% accuracy rate. Certainly, you need to double check contacts and stuff before you send emails if you can, but yeah, it's surprisingly quite accurate. Even for folks like me, my name is actually quite common on the internet, so they could find quite a few Sara Nortons if they tried to AI data enrich me, but it does a pretty good job. All right, so there is an area that I wish AI was better at, and this activity is meant to show you that this is another area we are on the cusp. AI is trying really hard to get good at this. And that is, I wish AI could actually help us create marketing designs in a tool like Canva. Now, in Canva, there are a lot of little AI features, but you may know if you've ever tried to ask Canva to create a whole social media tile for you that promotes, let's say, an event like this. You're speaking at something and you need it to create something with your headshot, the date, the title in a square thing for Instagram. There is no tool that can do that right now. I don't know why AI is really struggling to understand design fundamentals, like where to put the title, the date, the face. But two tools have been launched in just the last 3 weeks. And in this activity, you're going to choose one or the other to give a try. One is Canva. If you pay for Canva, I want you to try out Canva Grow. I think if you're only on the free Canva, I don't think it will let you. Now I've lost my link to Google Pomeli, but let me grab that link for you. The reason I'm trying both of these side by side is some of you won't be able to access the Canva, but you will be able to access Google Pomeli. Two, the reason we're doing this is these actually operate the exact same way, and I think they're actually powered by the same thing. I think Canva Grow is powered by Google Pomeli. What both of these are trying to do is they will ask you for your website or a link from your website. And using AI, they're going to try to create some designs for you, for ads in particular, but give one or the other a try. I'm going to try Canva Grow today because I tried Pomeli yesterday and was a little bit disappointed with how it turned out. But yeah, let's take a moment to give these things a try and see how they do today. And another reason I teach these, even though they're not perfect yet, is because truly the AI changes every single week. So every time I teach this, the results are slightly different and usually a little bit better every time. So I am going to tell Canva to go to my implementation page today. Let me know in the chat if you're having any trouble with either of those links, but hopefully you're able to access one or the other. If not, you can just watch me. I always do the activities along with you. All right. So using my link, Canva has come up with this business snapshot. My name, my description, yes. Sure, yes. And it's linked to my brand kit. This, I'll say really quickly, is an area that the AI has also struggled in both Canva and Google. When you ask AI to create images like for your website or for your social media, I don't know why, it's had such a hard time pulling your brand colors. Canva knows my brand colors and the fonts I use. Google can scrape that information from my website and know what my colors are, and yet the AI design functions like mess it up a lot. So this is what we're all waiting to see these quirks be worked out. In fact, at the Canva keynote, this is their big product update that happened just about 3 weeks ago. They announced that like this is a priority area that they're improving in the AI is if you're going to try to create designs for my business, you better use my business colors at least. So if you have a chance to try these out and you get a result, please let us know in the chat how it went. I also tried to teach one of these earlier, but half the internet was crashed, so Pomeli didn't work this morning. Yeah, there was a major outage of a lot of tech this morning. If you had any tech troubles, it was caused by something called Cloudflare. AI designers always take a little while too, so. Really, Canva didn't work this morning either, Teresa. I wasn't in my Canva. That makes a lot of sense. At least Teams didn't break, Teresa. I saw people all over LinkedIn saying if only Microsoft were down so we didn't have to work. But then do it in Durham wouldn't work. All right, thank goodness I'm ahead of time so I can just sit here and wait for the designers to design. Yes, Teresa. Depending on how long this takes to design for me, you guys can ask me anything unrelated to this current activity in the chat as well. I don't want to bore you just staring at my screen or your own screen. I'm curious if anyone else has any results yet or if it's struggling. Okay, so it did all that thinking just to serve me. Oh, yeah. Danielle, that's probably a little lingering hangover from the outage this morning. If Canva is saying there's a problem on your end, if you have time to switch over to Pomeli or you want to open it in another tab, go ahead and try. So it wasn't creating ads for me yet. It was scraping more information from my website, trying to figure out of this particular product page, what are the unique selling points, the prices it's gathering, stuff like that. Good. Cool. Maybe I'll go over to Pomeli while we're at it. Yeah, we got this error this morning too in Pomeli. Okay, so you can see here what it's tried to create for me in past sessions. It's not bad. It's just, it's stealing images straight from my website. It is copying my font. But I don't know why it did black backgrounds on my designs. My whole brand is like bright and white and teal and stuff like that. So that doesn't make sense to me. And I've been meaning to see if I can prompt it to make the same designs, but with a white background. Because this is another thing that AI image generators have struggled with. They don't operate exactly like AI in ChatGPT, where we can talk to it and give it feedback, get it to iterate on what it's created. The AI image generators really struggle with that. Come back over here. Still working hard for me. Sandra says mine didn't pick up brand colors or images from the site either. Yeah, struggle. But I do like to show the flaws of AI again, so that you folks know that it's not a you problem. It's the AI problem. And also remind you that this could change next week. They could fix this problem. So don't give up forever. Circle back, try it again the next time it comes to you. Yeah, Nicole. interesting. You don't like how it's describing your brand. That's because it's pulling straight from your website. So it's making some assumptions based off your website. That is interesting. Good thing is we can edit the assumptions that it's making. So we can try to tweak these things. And Renee, automations for receiving e-transfers. Those are a little bit harder to automate for the reason I shared that our Canadian banking system is very secure, very private, very hard to do things like automations. Nicole's asking, are there AIs that are better at creating graphics? ChatGPT is very poor. None of them are perfect, Nicole. Yeah, they're pretty inconsistent right now, but Google Gemini has actually been really impressive, even compared to Canva. Okay, look how ugly this is. You see what I'm saying? Why is it doing that to my logo? These are crazy. Okay, I think we have enough results for you to see. Back over to Pomeli really quick. It kind of listened to my feedback, although this white background is not accessible with like a very light, unreadable blue on top of it. But anyways, we'll keep trying. I'll keep you posted. Follow me on social. I'm sure I'll announce there if it ever works out well for me. I will share it. I'll share my LinkedIn at the end of this. That's where I'm like the most active. Okay. Janice. It said Janice has red, but actually her colors are 3 pinks. Yeah, it's not asking for us for input on what font we use. You're right, it doesn't let us change the font. It's just making assumptions. Okay, but Janice did get like a bit of an interesting, potentially decent result there at the end. Okay, coming to close to the end of this session, we're going to talk very briefly about AI agents. I really don't think we're at a place where agents are actually practical in a lot of our businesses, but because a lot of folks are curious about it, or you're hearing this term, you're seeing it around on social, I want to show you a couple examples of how easy it can actually be. So the first agent I teach folks how to create, if it's relevant for them, is you can have a little AI agent that does industry research for you and emails it to you on a weekly basis. So you might already have newsletters you follow on your industry news, but if you don't like those news sources, then you can train AI to look for news sources that you care about, industry articles or sources, or for me, it's tech types that I really care about. The opportunity here, I really recommend Relay for creating your first AI agent because they have really good templates. So you don't have to start from scratch. You just use one of their templates. And they have one to scan the news, Google News in particular, or other sources. You tell it what keywords or industry topics you care about the most. Oh, my slide may be made bigger. Let me see if I can. No, it won't even resize that. Sorry, Candace. It won't let me resize. I would have to go change all the fonts. But remember, you'll get the recording after this if you'd like. Maybe I can even send the slides to Teresa or straight to you, Candace, if you need them. Okay. So, yeah, you program the agent, you tell it what you care about and how you'd like a weekly email formatted. Maybe you just want really quick bullet points about the finance industry, or for me, the tech industry, and it'll send me a weekly snippet. Really fun. If you get a little advanced, you can even get AI to turn it into a podcast for you that it's created with an AI voice. And the ChatGPT voices are actually pretty good. All right, this is what it looks like in Relay. It's really just using ChatGPT, but remember I said an agent is just AI, ChatGPT, and then an automation. So the automation that Relay starts it off with is every Monday at 9 a.m., send Sara this email. No, every Monday at 9 a.m., call on ChatGPT. Then we go here. ChatGPT, you are a research assistant. It is this date. Write a digest. Include these things. Include links, etc. Whatever information you want to give ChatGPT, we put it here. And then we say, and email Sara every Monday morning at 9 a.m. That's the whole agent. And like I said, Relay has really good templates, so you don't have to create that yourself. You just have to customize what they created for you. Sandra, I'm going to zoom through the rest of this and hopefully answer your question at the end. Or I bet Teresa can answer it too. I think she probably knows. All right, so idea number 13. You can have ChatGPT, a little AI agent, craft content for you routinely. The same way I just said, an agent can do research for you and email you on a weekly basis on industry trends. Relay could also have ChatGPT writing social media post ideas for you and emailing those to you every Friday. Or you don't have to use Relay to do that. If you pay for ChatGPT, there's a function called tasks. You can ask ChatGPT to run an automation that it emails you social media ideas every Friday at 5 p.m., something like that. And I'm new to tasks because I don't always pay for ChatGPT. I'm in a season that I pay for it right now. So I said, hey, how do I even create tasks in ChatGPT? And it told me everything with just plain language. You just chat with it like you normally would, but you say, hey, every Monday morning, do this. And then it's an automated task. It's a little agent. All right, 14, we have a call prep agent. Again, same idea. What's the schedule you want this automation to run on? Get ChatGPT to, or Claude actually is better at this, scan your calendars for the meetings you have coming up with external people. Then have ChatGPT research those external people. Again, if they're business to business, public facing people, ChatGPT will go try to find information on them and send you a summary of what you need to know about those people and their businesses. So if you find yourself needing to do a lot of preparation before you do potential client calls, you could see if AI can help you get a little bit of that research summarized to you in your inbox. This is what it looks like this is an example in Zapier. So you can create agents in Zapier. This is also a template. So you can look up Zapier sales prep agent. And then in the configure tab, you can edit what you want it to look for specifically in your calendar. And then when it researches those people, what do you want it to look for? Yes, Nicole, I'm glad you like it. So no activity here, but if you are interested in this world of AI agents, then the quick homework is go look at templates. We never need to create something from scratch. That's intimidating. We'll get stuck. Relay and Zapier both have really good templates. Now, the 15th tip is actually not AI or automation or anything, but it's my hack for actually introducing yourself to new tech. If you're overwhelmed by all the ideas that I just shared and all the things you have to do in all your technologies, then all I do is I block time every Friday to work on my tech. Whatever time you can set aside, make it a recurring meeting with yourself in your calendar. If you can set aside 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, to play with the tech you already have, or explore some of the things that Sara taught you in that webinar this week, or go look for a new solution because you hate Calendly. If it's not in your calendar, you won't do it. So block time. That's how I do it. And my final pep talk to you, aside from that, is that we all get either really excited by new tech like AI, or we get really overwhelmed by new tech like AI. I find everyone I talk to, clients, friends, overlook the tech that they're already not using to the fullest, and they get excited by the shiny thing or they pursue the new thing. Start with what you're already using, because I bet there's features in even your Google Workspace or your Microsoft suite that is available to you that you're not really using, including the AI available to you in there. So you might as well start with what you're already paying for. It may be less exciting than pursuing new things, but it's a lot more practical. And if it works for you, you're a lot more likely to keep up with it. These are the places that you can find me online. Like I mentioned, I'm most active on LinkedIn. I post a couple times a week on random thoughts about tech and product updates and stuff like that. And then on my website, there's this landing page at /tech that I share a lot more tech recommendations for free and affordable tools that I like. And finally, I always want to make my presentations better. So with the final 2 minutes, you can either fill out my feedback form. It's only 2 questions. It's anonymous. You can let me know what you thought. And if you don't have feedback, but you do have a question, you can post it in the chat. Me and Teresa have 1 minute to answer you.
I've had quite a few sessions with business owners on how to use AI in their business as well, how to use Zapier, how to integrate some things, right? Kathy, we even did Jotform integration years ago. So
Very good.
we do go through those with you as well.
Yeah, the
But Sara,
BACD is
thank
quite
you.
tech savvy. They can help you.
Thank you, Sara, for a very informative presentation and a great pace, I think, personally, for the content. So I found it very useful and very helpful. Learned something new as well. I'd love to be able to use Relay. We use Zapier at BACD, but I would like to use Relay, but not my choice at this point. But thank you. And I just wish everybody a lovely evening.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Thanks for coming out. See you around at other Do It in Durham events.